Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Love of Business podcast at prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media. My name is Maria Miko Faith, and I will be your host today. I am a breast cancer survivor and content specialist, and it is my pleasure to introduce wellness architect Devra Betts today.
Thank you so much for having me. Grateful to be here.
Well, it's just so awesome because, as some people know, I'm starting a wellness podcast myself called Miko's World of Wellness. And then you come along and you've got this amazing wake the health up message. And I'm so delighted. So tell me a little bit about how you got started and what you do exactly.
Well, I got started because, but when I was about 52 years old, 14 years ago, I realized that my health was quickly crashing, and both of my parents had complications from diabetes and heart disease, which ultimately took their life. And my doctor said, that's exactly where you're heading very quickly if something doesn't change. Well, it was confusing because I had tried to change. I tried everything, but all I did was gain weight, get sicker, every symptom under the sun. I had a seizure disorder. My immune system was tanked, bronchitis 3 times a year, and it went on and on. And so I went on this journey of discovering why despite everything I had tried, nothing worked. And on that journey, I discovered how much that we didn't know about our health, and it was more than just the food on our plate. And eat less and exercise more wasn't the answer for me, because exercising more and eating less and drinking Diet Coke and everything diet, I gained 50 pounds. Wow. And so there was something more. So I led me on a journey, and I went became a healthy gut advisor. I went to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And the more I learned, the more I realized how much we didn't know, and that what we don't know was killing us. And so as I sat by and watched my parents die, friends diagnosed with breast cancer, some of them survived, many of them died, and all the other degenerative diseases, chronic diseases that we face in our country, it just fueled this passion in me that people had to know this, and I wanted to get that message out. And so then I was prompted to write the book and to become a wellness architect, a health coach, to help people understand their body, because our body talks to us and it's telling you there's something wrong. So those symptoms that we have are just little whispers of the body saying something's not right. You need to pay attention and fix them. So that's how I got started, helping people transform their health so that they can go out. You can have all these dreams and plans for a big, beautiful, huge business to impact the world. But if we don't have our health, that's all that really matters. We have to have our own health first before we can go help anybody else in the world.
That's such a powerful message, and one that I'm learning personally myself as well, because I'm still on the recovery leg. And I want to jump in and just go crazy because I've been out of the loop, it feels like, but the lesson keeps being what you're saying, wake the health up, take care of yourself so that you have the energy to do the things that you envision.
And I think it's a little bit easier than, in some ways it's hard, because when we're trying to determine what food is healthy for us as individuals, is part of the issue. But there's other things that we can do, and that's what the book was about. There's things that we can do that are very easy to implement. It takes commitment and a decision to do that, but it's totally possible to start today and transform our health.
And that's it. It's not tomorrow. It's not on Monday. But it's today, right? Yeah. Every day is a decision.
Yeah. The whole thing about, I'm going to start tomorrow. I'll start. And we always think in terms of diet, right? And it's not just diet. It's diet might be the food on your plate, but it's got to be a lifestyle eating pattern. But the whole thing about starting tomorrow is we know that tomorrow never comes, whether it's our health or business or taking that trip or spending more time with our families. We have to start, decide, and take the next step right now.
Right.
I'm really glad to hear that you're in recovery.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'm really blessed to be no evidence of disease, and it's I've learned so much, and I continue to learn so much about myself, and in relation to my own wellness and recovery, because like you said, in your bio, you're on a mission to empower professionals to optimize their most important asset, their health. So that's really, I think there's this culture of entrepreneurship that is so geared towards burning the candle at both ends and just depleting your resources at a faster rate than they're being replenished.
Yeah, the burning the candle at both ends. I was one of those people that I thought my schedule had to be packed from end to end. And I thought I was really good at multitasking. And it became very clear to me that part of my problem was that I was burning the candle at both ends. And when I said that, I thought I tried everything. I tried everything except for managing my sleep and managing my stress. And so those were two things that became really apparent that were more important than the food I put on my plate.
Wow. I relate so much to the sleep part because I used to really neglect my sleep as well. I thought it was like a guilty pleasure that I liked my beauty sleep, and I would deprive myself. But I realized that I actually had an easier time with managing my weight when I got enough sleep. Mm-hmm. And that was even more, more impactful than the food and exercise changes. So it's really interesting to hear you say that as well.
Yeah, it's they're all connected, like the sleep, the stress, the food that we eat, movement, they're all interconnected, and one doesn't work without the other. And they all play a role in our hormones and how, so if we're not sleeping, if we're gaining weight, it's all connected. It's all hormonal. And I didn't realize that. And so, there's a cortisol, like if we're always stressed, our cortisol shoots up, and our cortisol shoots up, we gain weight. So we learn how to manage some of those easy things. And I think when I'm better rested, mm-hmm. It's easier for me to manage the stress and the food choices.
So what do you advise for people who, continue to work late or night owls or, somehow get by on less sleep than they maybe want or need?
Well, the conventional wisdom is that everyone needs 7 to 9 hours. And I think by and large, that's probably a good parameter. But because we're all unique and individual, there are some people who can survive on 5 or 6 and still be healthy. But you have to really pay attention to your body. And if you wake up the next morning and you're not raring to go and have energy that lasts you throughout the day, there's something to look at as far as your sleep. Because when you're sleeping, their memories get stored, your hormones are replenished and kick in, and there's all these works, muscles get rebuilt. There's all these things that happen when you're asleep. And if we deprive ourselves of sleep, we're depriving ourselves of our body's ability to heal itself. And once I understood that, for me, it made all the difference in the world. So once I was the burn the candle at both ends, sometimes in the middle kind of person, until one day someone said, well, maybe you're not as bright as you think you are.
Ooh.
I wish I could
Wow.
remember actually who said it and give them credit, because it was really a wake-up call for me. But I still remember how I felt at the moment. And the more I learned about sleep and the role it played in health and started paying attention, it started shifting things for me as well.
Wow.
When I was 52, I was on an anti-seizure medication. I was pre-diabetic. I was on antibiotics all the time. And now I don't take any medicine at all. I'm 66 years old. I have more energy than I did when I was in my 30s. And most of that, I would say all of it, is attributed to diet. Not a diet, but my diet and my food choices and lifestyle changes.
That's wonderful to look forward to, possibly having more energy as you get older, just by making different changes in how, we optimize our resources. So yeah, go ahead.
Some people say, well, I get 7 hours of sleep, but if you're getting 7 hours of sleep and you're not still awake, alert, and enthusiastic when you get up, there's still something for you to examine in that, because that's another symptom of something else not quite right. You're sleeping, but you're not getting quality sleep. Right. And there could be a lot of things for that, including there's so many people now that have sleep apnea that can be very dangerous. So if you think you're getting enough sleep and you're not feeling good, that might be something that you want to investigate a little bit further.
Right, like talk to your doctor, or something. Yeah. Seek some professional assistance.
Absolutely.
I think if I may interject, something that I've found helpful in my own health journey is to really see my whole health system as a teamwork, with the doctors, the medication, whatever it is, the caregiving, whatever support is there, to see it as, part of the diet, as you might say, and then that way I feel like it shifts the mindset into a resource mindset, instead of, like, oh, I don't have enough, I'm not doing well. Mm-hmm. Like, what resources do we have, and how can we use those resources to further optimize our own? Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's part of your, your approach, but
yeah, mindset has to be part of it. The positive mindset, because healing, there's studies that show that healing is also impacted by the mindset. And mm-hmm. So if you're like the attitude of gratitude. So if you're, practice those times of Thanksgiving and giving to other people, and all those things that are good attributes of as a human, those are good for your health. Hugging somebody, petting, rubbing your pet, cuddling a pet, going for a walk. All those things impact your mental health as well, which then impacts your overall health.
Right, because we make a lot of decisions based on our mental well-being.
It's all connected. It's just one person.
Right. This is such a great episode, of the love of business really being the love of, ourselves and our health as business owners.
Mm-hmm. I believe that if we love our business and we have a calling and we understand our why we're in business, then the next step for that is then to ask ourselves, how do I stay healthy enough then to go out and share my message, to be healthy enough to get on stage, to meet with clients, to go to more training? Because I know far too many people who their dreams are lying on a shelf someplace because they don't have the health to get up and go do what it is they want to do. I have friends who actually passed away from disease. And so all their dreams died with them, and all those gifts. And it really saddens me, because we're all here for a purpose, and we have something to do to bring value to this world. And I really do have a passion and a vision for helping people live out that dream that they have, whatever it is that's on their heart.
Wow, that's beautiful. So So tell me a little bit about what is in the book, Wake the Health Up.
Well, there are experts on every side of every issue. And so what I wanted to do is I didn't want to debate those things because it's hard to do that. But I wanted to give people a toolkit of what it is that most people can agree is helpful. First, an understanding of, well, your gut, how does your gut work? How do the bacteria, what role does it play? What role does food play? There's a little bit about the toxins that might be playing a role in our health. What's the big deal about sugar? Is coffee okay? One of the things that's happening right now is with the health crisis that the whole planet is in, is we are antibiotic, antiseptic, anything. And long before that hit, there's evidence that too much of that isn't good for ourselves or the planet, because it's killing off the bad bacteria, but it also kills off the good bacteria. And so there has to be a balance of good and bad bacteria. And so I go into that a little bit in the book. So basically it's things that are impacting our health that we don't really have an awareness of, but we have total control. So we can't wait for a doctor or a scientist to develop something. These are tools that we can use and implement for ourselves today.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow. That's really impactful. So many things that we can do.
Yeah. Health wise, right here.
Right. And that's why I even, called my podcast, I'm calling my podcast, my world of wellness, mm-hmm. because I felt like that's the next, that's the most beneficial thing I can do to approach my own wellness, rather than focus only on the recovery, but use the wellness as a foundation, for building healthy habits and living up to my optimum self, I guess.
Yes. I would love to hear more about your podcast and watch your journey.
It's so open right now, and I feel like we're already merging. Because I wanted to get it done in January, and then but like you're saying, like I'm a perfect example of that, where I have been in treatment for a long time and had many surgeries, and I have to be respectful of my body's abilities. And sometimes I just push myself because I get excited. And, but with the podcast, it's going to hold, I'm going to have to be accountable, to like, what I'm doing honestly for myself, and the things that are helping me, and how I'm mostly mindset things like you're talking about, but just, a personalized version of it. Getting in that mindset of wellness, like I deserve wellness. I don't have to sometimes we have to struggle through things as part of life, but it doesn't have to be that hard, right?
Exactly. And I think what happens is people, they take when we're overweight, that's an outward visible sign that's a symptom of something going wrong in the body. But that's not the only symptom. So someone who's thin could still have chronic disease going on. It's going to manifest in a different way. Mm-hmm. And so we have to take a good look at what we're doing in our lifestyle behaviors. And is that going to create the health that we want in 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Because we can convince ourselves that we're healthy, but if our mm-hmm. eating habits and we're not sleeping and we burn the candle at both ends, it's going to catch up to you. There are a handful of people who they have phenomenal genes, but you can't keep abusing your body and not have it impact you.
Right. And I think a key too is making the habits that are desirable fun.
Yeah.
I liked I'd like to say if we like to do it, we're more likely to do it.
Well, people think that they have to exercise at the gym for 4 hours at a time. And there's actually evidence that saying maybe not so fast, that may not be in your best interest, that high intensity interval training or walking is might be more beneficial to your body.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah. So I said something about genes real quick. A lot of times people they rely on their genes, either good genetic makeup or a disease might be genetic. And I just like to say that genes are one thing, but what we do in our everyday life is more powerful than our genetic makeup.
Wow.
So, because lifestyle behaviors can turn off or turn on or turn off the genetic code. And so we just because a parent had diabetes or heart disease, don't assume that has to be your future.
Right. I completely hear you. And I actually don't have the breast cancer gene, but I know that I made a lot of compromises to my health and well-being over an extended period of time. So I feel like I take responsibility for tipping the scales, and having to learn the hard way that I need to honor, the temple of my body, or, the well-being of my, myself.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we have a couple more minutes. Is there anything that you want to talk about with us and, help us wake the health up?
Well, people think that it's got to be all or nothing sometimes. And I would just say, earlier we said start today, start now. So choose one thing that you want to change and just work on one thing. And then add another thing and add another thing, because, my journey, it's been 14 years and there's things I'm still learning and still changing. So it wasn't an overnight thing. So, when they talk about you can't judge your beginning by somebody's ending. And it's the same, you take baby steps. What do you want to change? Do you want to change how much sleep you get? Then have a conversation about what would that look like in your life to get more sleep? Or what would it look like to learn how to breathe deeply and appropriately, or to meditate or pray? What would it look like to chew your food so that it is more easily digestible and the nutrients are absorbed into your body? So there's simple things that you can begin to do to make your life, your health, to optimize your health,
Right. These are all things, and they're so impactful because they're things that we do on a daily or very regular basis. Wow.
But I do offer like a 30-minute conversation. If you just, what are your health goals, and are you on the trajectory? I would love to work with anybody listening who is ready to take control and manage their health, but to have a conversation and give you some direction or next steps. And you can do that over at wakethehealthup.co. There's a place to schedule a free discovery call.
Wonderful. So please go and visit wakethehealthup.co. It's been such a pleasure, Devra, to talk with you this wonderful day.
Thank you. It's been a joy to chat with you.
Yay. And thank you all for watching The Love of Business. Stay tuned for more great shows at prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media.